Hello friends, and welcome to a brand new video. I really hope you can't hear my husband munching away on crisps in the other room. But if you do, please ignore it. Anyway, this video is essentially an update to my vision board. Essentially like 6 months on, I would say, because I have updated it because I essentially accomplished some things, or not necessarily accomplished, but bought some things, and felt that some of my goals had changed course, I'd say. And I was surprised on how easy it is to accomplish a goal or buy something when it's visibly available to you. Actually quite surprised. So instead of me rambling on about how amazed I am about how easy this works and so on, I'm just going to show you my vision board as it was at the start of the year. So here's the vision board at the start of the year, and there are a few things that I already had done whilst doing that video, but also there were some things that I have also now crossed off my list. So essentially I recently bought a bag. I did not buy the bag on the image, but that is still in my headspace. I bought a bag definitely more suited to my budget. I apologize for the sun being it's a very beautiful weather here today in Stockholm, finally, because we've had gruesome weather. Anyway, I've actually stopped doing my nails. This is my own doing, not perfectly well, but this is essentially I was happy that I provided myself the time to go and do my nails, but then it felt like I wanted the money to go somewhere else, and I was okay with doing my nails myself. And again, I'm very happy that I did that and gave myself the opportunity to have them done, but now I'm okay for it for now. I'll probably go back at some point, but right now I'm doing it myself. When it comes to buying shoes and keeping the dress alive, I have yet to buy the shoes, and the dress is just there for the elegance vibe I want to have. I purchased perfume. I bought the deck of cards as well, that is visible in here, and that is essentially it. But let's go into my new vision board. So this is the continuation, if that's a word, of my vision board. Slightly less pictures, I actually notice now, but more of a sort of, with the time that has passed, the past 6 months, it's sort of things have come to fruition in my headspace of what I actually want to achieve. I think the first one was because I realized it was so easy to attain certain things once I had them visually presented for me, and I also had them on top of my mind constantly, because I saw it on my laptop, I saw it on my phone. I sort of started to narrow it down a bit. And so let's start with the left hand side on the vision board. So the left hand side, you will see Dita Fontees, you will see the old Veuve Clicquot ad, some poppies, the words on a pin, deeds not words, cups with saucers, and the wording, just because it's taking time doesn't mean it's not happening. Let's start with that. Just because it's taking time doesn't mean it's not happening. I have now more respect for, even though it goes very, very slowly sometimes, I realize that consistency is definitely key here. It doesn't have to be grand gestures all the time. It can be slow. It can be also very much a sort of me getting ready for a certain goal. And I don't know, I just realized, just because it's taken the time, because sometimes I can get stressed, like, oh, this is gonna take a year, this is gonna take, like, time is gonna move anyway, but I sort of started to stress less about the time it takes. Let it take its course. And I've just essentially realized it doesn't necessarily get better because I do it in a short amount of times, whatever I do. But And Dita Fontees, so I fairly recently rediscovered my vintage vibes. I used to be a full-on vintage girly, and when I say that, it's more about 1940s, 1950s. And I sort of rediscovered that. I've always appreciated the red lipstick, but now I'm like back doing my signature hair that I used to do all the time, every single day, without fail. And I sort of like have come back to my roots. I definitely had a period of time where I've lost myself style-wise and sort of tried to rediscover, try something else, because I wasn't very confident in the way I was dressing. But now I'm sort of really going back to everything what I like, and I will get back more into it on the YouTube imaging and so on. But yeah, so Dita Fontees has been a huge, like a big role model in that sense when it comes to style wise and how she decides to live her life. So I wanted to emphasize that, and emphasize that whatever you like is okay. Vauclicot does really represent that I still want to learn French. I'm still looking out for classes. I do want to go to a paid course. You can go to uni here in Sweden where the classes are free of charge. You have to purchase the books, but I have yet to find a suitable course for me, and I realized I'd rather pay and have a time that fits me very well than go somewhere, uni, whatever school, that doesn't fit me very well just because it's free. Great that it's free, by the way, but I've yet to find a class schedule that works for me. If that pops up, happy days. Currently I've only seen the only ones that fits me are the ones I need to pay for, but I've yet to been able to make that commitment. So that is still on the board. The poppies. So poppies are one of my favorite flowers. It's also represented as a remembrance for the Second World War, and I think it's in the Commonwealth countries, so United Kingdom and so on. This is sort of a reminder to myself to take care of myself. I had a bit of a mental health woe, I'd say, mid-spring, which was quite scary. I was actually, it was equivalent to breaking a bone in your body, I would say, but for my mind, and I was a bit traumatized about that. Today, I'm back to myself 100%. So, but I just realized that taking care of yourself is key to be feeling good at all times. Well, 99% of the time. So what I've done is that I'm going to continue to go to my therapist once a month, and I'm also going to my chiropractor once a month because I have issues with my upper back. And I've done that now for a few months, and it's really paying off, keeping a level of wellness rather than having to go down and dip and go back up again, dip and go back up again. I never had those valleys of pain or mental health issues or anything anymore, because I have an outlet where I can work through these things. And yeah, so I'm definitely, that is pure reminder to keep that and try that out and see how that works for me. The cups, I've always appreciated a cup and a saucer, and I actually have my coffee here right now. But that sun is right in the middle. There we go. My bestie bought this for me as a wedding present. I've always had a thing for cups and saucers, and that is sort of like, I actually have at work, at my office, I bought, IKEA has cups and saucers as well. Let's see if I can move like this. So I actually bought one to have at work because I didn't want to have a mug. I still drink from mugs, but I just realized I really prefer a cup and a saucer. And the IKEA one, like, it's fine if that breaks, it happens, and so it's not too valuable to me in that sense. But this is sort of just a reminder to keep doing. And like, in all honesty, I would love to design, oh, I'm really pushing it out there, but it's not necessarily part of this vision board, but I would love to actually design a cup and a saucer. Like, that would be amazing. I have a few in my collection. I've sort of realized that I actually do want to have a bigger collection. And I have a few vintage ones and so on. But yeah, that is something that I would like to expand on when the time is right. The words, deeds, not words, or the quote rather, because I believe it's a quote from Emmeline Pankhurst, the suffragette. So this ties back to that just because the consistency and just because it's taking time doesn't mean it's not happening, is that I've been a great talker. Like, of all the things I wanted to do in my life, I've always talked about them. Not much doing, honestly. And I'm realizing the start of this year that I'm slowly doing the work. And I've also realized come to my career that, wow, I've actually have done, because I haven't necessarily given credit for my career to myself, which is odd, but I sort of realized that like I do have a history of actually completing things and doing things. They may not be perfect, but they have gotten done. And I just realized like less talk and more doing. And if I talk, that's okay, but I need to like slowly back it up and do it on my own timeline, sort of. So deeds not words is sort of just a reminder essentially. So let's scooch over to, you know what, let's go straight to the right hand side, and we'll go back to the middle shortly. So the right hand side has the words discipline, consistency, patience, and sort of like these are the three words that I've sort of realized that I need to consistently, funny enough, work on. I've definitely realized lately, and this ties in with the woman that is a bit bendy, I've actually abandoned the idea, not abandoned in that sense, but I've actually, so my last vision board had the reformer Pilates. However, it was starting to become too difficult in a sense that it costs a lot of money if you're gonna want to go to a studio, and that was the money that I didn't necessarily want to spend. Then my local gym was starting to have classes as well, but the queues, like they started this at like I think March, we're in May, they're still fully booked. Like there's hundreds in queues, not all the time, but like 80 plus people in the queues, and they're always telling like, no, you need to sign up, but like it has come to a point where it's a bit too difficult. So I've essentially abandoned that for now. However, what I started to doing out of pure like, hey, let's try this out, is that my gym has in the app, they have a workout program for weightlifting, like 3 times a week. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try this out. And I had about 2 criteria. One, it needs to take an hour. Like that's all I'm able to give in the gym, and it needs to be fairly consistent for myself, but also I have more criteria obviously, but also it doesn't have to be perfect. So what I realized that when it comes to the gym and working out and so on, is that you go such a long way with consistency, not necessarily perfection. And the last few months, 3 months, I think the program is about 12 weeks, but I've taken a week off every now and then and so on, but I've gained so much more strength that even my Ashtanga yoga practice has gone so much better because I am so much stronger. I actually did push-ups the other week and I haven't done that like ever. And now I can't go without it, essentially. I just realized that how easy it was to give myself 3 hours a week to do proper gym training. No, it wasn't necessarily super easy, but I also I gave myself the opportunity to never fail, essentially. So even if I did like lower weights for that week, I still did the workout. So it wasn't essentially that I needed to consistently progress in it. So that sort of ties in with the Ashtanga yoga as well, because I've gotten so much stronger. I also did my first, I've gone twice now to a Mysore Ashtanga class, which is essentially you do your own practice, but in a group setting. And it was absolutely fantastic. I'm gonna leave it at that. The croissants in vogue, the French thing, you know, same with the croissant. I want to learn French. I used to keep it on top of my mind, and because I now have 3 images related to that, it needs to pop up in my life, right? By the way, following the French and poppies, I would love to go. One trip that's on my bucket list is actually going to Normandy, so we're just gonna slide that in. You also see a red lipstick, a coffee cup, and a salsa. And yeah, same thing, keeping the vibe up. Apologies, needed to fix something with my camera. Anyway, cup with the salsa and the lipstick. I mean, the lipstick I'm wearing today is, by the way, Lisa Eldridge Velvet Ribbon. Fantastic lipstick, absolutely beautiful. But let's scooch into the most exciting part, which is in the middle of this, which has the essentially the create your own job with the heels in the background that I actually want. But also the biggest thing here is the image with the phone, because I want a new phone as well, with the tax 1,000+ subs, and the image YouTube monetization eligibility. YouTube monetization eligibility. I want to have my YouTube monetized, and at its current state I am nowhere near it. But as say, like, just because it's taking time doesn't mean it's not happening, and I'm slowly in my head and actually doing the work, so it's not just words, it's also deeds. I'm doing the work in the background. So the idea is that I'm gonna do a lot more work comes to YouTube. And so what I've struggled with is I tend to censor myself a lot, and I try to really fight through that and not think that everything has to be perfect. It's alright to have an okay video. It doesn't have to be perfect every single time. It just needs to be consistent. But yeah, that is one of the main goals of 2025, getting that YouTube monetized. And it's a bit of a scary one because it's putting myself out there. And sometimes I don't know if I can, yeah. But I sort of just realized that it's not necessarily, like, I sort of just realized that the crowd will find me, like my community, the people that I want to have as followers and subscribers and so on, like they will find me and we will have a joint interest of some sort. And because I've sort of really thought of like who is my perfect crowd essentially, and I think it's definitely those vintage girlies who appreciate fashion, but also like specifically like wartime history, Second World War, and women, and I'm babbling on because I can't really find my words, but it's just, I think it will not be perfect from the start, but it will sort of like slowly conform into some sense of some sort. For the first time in my life, I'm slowly trying to put faith in, if I do the work, something will happen from it. And I think that's why I also put in the quote that the universe will never give you peace in something you were never meant to settle in. Because this thing about YouTube and social media, Instagram and so on, and the whole elegance, fashion, World War II history and French, it always comes back to me. Even though when I've had periods in my life where I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna, like, it's not happening, it's too difficult, or it's too expensive, or whatever it is, I've sort of like given up and just changed course. It has always sort of crept up on me afterwards anyway. So I sort of just realized that I need to lean into this and allow myself to be myself, essentially, and trust that that crowd will essentially find me. But yeah, following this, I also have done new screensavers for my phone, and let's start. I think I have 2 at the minute. Sorry, I have 3. So let's start with the first one. So the first one is, as you can see, I'm keeping a bit of an aesthetics with it. Sorry, I got fluff here. With the reds and the dark blues, greens. Can't tell my color apart. But and it is not necessarily pictures from the vision board, but something that aligns with it. And in this one, I just wanted to have beautiful imagery. So I do have the these not words, but also with the confidence. I thought it was so me. Give me a second, I'm just gonna have another sip. And also what I added in was, you can see the stationery upwards with the burgundy and the white. I'm currently really into burgundy and white, even if it's summer. I think that should go anyway, like that should work. And also with the cookery. With that, I also want to learn how to make sourdough bread. But that's sort of like a side quest. It's not, I think it's going to happen, but we'll see when time permits. I also have an image of me. Mostly because I think this picture really tells how I am. And you guys like, what? You're putting on lipstick? I'm like, yeah, that's me. A lipstick is me, essentially. And I will always buy a red lipstick. And I sort of like, why not make it my entire personality? There's a reason why this channel is called Always Lipstick. Also, I've added in, like, where's me, husband, we, me, whatever. I'm slowly redecorating here at home. But this is also, we would like to purchase a new flat eventually. But this is sort of like more of a dreamy goal scenario. But this is sort of the aesthetic I'm slowly moving towards. Not limited to, but yeah. Let's check out the other one. So the second one, still in the same color scheme, I have the word stay focused, which I think says itself. We have the cup with the salsa and the lipstick. Like, I can't stop. The poppies, which I really love, and the Vauclicot ad, for obvious reasons, learning French, but also champagne. But I've also added the runway picture from Max Mara, fall 25-26. I really fell in love with this look. Obviously this is not a vintage look, but this is sort of like full-on burgundy color with a long coat, and I just, with the natural hair and a natural hair color, it looks like it. I don't know if it is, but I just realized this is how I want to look when it comes to fall and winter. So yeah, that is staying put for now. We'll see. And the last one, like, I can highly recommend like putting these on your phone, to be honest. Like this, I think I will change this wasn't the most like appealing like color scheme and so on, but I really wanted to put a very clear message to myself, like huge image with 1,000+ subs, the new phone, discipline, consistency, patient, and the YouTube monetization eligibility. I wanted to be this one to be as clear as day. Like, this is the one you're working towards. And here's the point where I need to stay focused. And and I really wanted to put all my eggs in one basket and just give myself the opportunity to just go for it. And you might not see any action on my YouTube video for some time, like a week or so, but believe me, stuff is happening in the background where I'm slowly working towards it. And I'm also trying to figure out a good schedule for myself. How does it work? Do I pre-record things? We are working on it, but this, I'm scaring myself now, but this is going to happen. I'm scaring myself because it means that I actually have to put down the work, but I also need to hype myself up for it. And yeah, but to just essentially conclude, this is my vision board now, 2025, 6 months in. I can highly recommend you doing a similar thing. I essentially just copy and paste images from Pinterest into Canva and then creating this. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but as said, if I knew how powerful seeing the goals of the imagery alive, I never knew that how powerful that could be. And I sort of just come to conclusion, like, I will always do this. Okay, I don't know, but I also give myself allowance for it to change. Reformer Pilates is not in my life currently. Maybe it will be one day, but I'm pivoting and changing it accordingly, because sometimes your goals change based on your situation, and that just essentially happened. But yeah, this is very powerful. I am very happy how easy it has come to me to and not everything, and that's another thing, like, I purposely made some things very easy for myself. It's whether it's buying a bag or buying a card deck, or buying a perfume, like I've made them easy for myself, to give myself the idea of success. Oh, now I succeeded in purchasing this, even though it was down to, like, the card deck was not expensive, but it was also give myself the allowance to put the money towards that, and then also settling into like, I achieved this. I'm giving myself as good of a sense of achievement as I possibly can. It's the same, like, it's the same thing with going to the gym. Sometimes you're not winning because you're doing the full perfect practice. Sometimes you're winning because you're only going into the gym, and that's a win. It doesn't matter what you do in the gym, but sometimes you just have to go there and be like, you did it. And so that is why, believe me, some of these things I find very difficult, but yeah, it needs to be easy, and it needs to be winnable, it needs to be achievable, and I can't believe how easy this has been for me. Thank you for watching. I will see you in my next video. Bye.